the Bling sisters. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling party. We're the Bling sisters. Jewelry, bling, fashion, that's our destiny. We're inviting people to join the Bling sisters, bringing entertainers from around the world. We help you find places to go. We'll sell you the jewelry to take you there. Glam up, accessorize. Let's get out of the living room and out on the town.
Up and down the 101, glamorized party and having fun.
Sonoma, Santa Rosa, Bodega Bay, Windsor, Katani, Roner Park, Petaluma, Hillsburg.
We're the Bling sisters. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling party. We're the Bling sisters. Jewelry, bling, fashion, that's our destiny. We're the Bling sisters. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling party. We're the Bling sisters. Jewelry, bling, fashion, that's our destiny. We talk, we chat, we have conversations with interesting people from around the Bay.
Come on, join the Bling sisters. Let them sell you jewelry that'll make your day.
We're the Bling sisters. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling party. Welcome to the Silver Shells Bling party.
Now. Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, June 10th, and I'm Silver Shells,
I'm Cindy Jenkins.
and we are the Bling Sisters. And we have an interactive internet talk show, and we chat with entertainers from all over the world in all walks of entertainment. We recently had Pamela Parker, Henry Turner Jr., Annie Simpson, Frank Grinfield, Nick Otis, Bex Marshall. Oh my gosh, Josh
Oh,
Wynn Miller.
Pamela Parker. Wasn't she hot? She is so great. You must know of Pamela Parker.
Yes.
I know Pamela very well. She's awesome. Yes.
Yeah,
she
you
was
got-
so
yeah.
much fun to talk to. And if you'd like to look for the red light in the upper left-hand corner, if it's on, we're live. If you'd like to be notified when we go live, just click on your notification bell and like us and share on Facebook. You can watch our past videos at www.blingsisters.live, and you'll be able to see all of our past
Videos.
interviews,
Just
yes.
go to the Facebook Live tab.
and the Facebook Live tab, or find us on Facebook. Anyway, and Cindy, I'm really excited to go to Baton Rouge.
I am too.
We're
Very
go-
excited.
So we're going down for the Soul Food Fest. We were invited by Henry Turner Jr., and we're leaving on the 23rd. We're going to be the roving Bling sisters.
We're gonna do some stuff.
We're
We're gonna
gonna-
be crazy.
we
okay.
are going to do some stuff.
So you guys just stay tuned. You
Yes.
just don't know what you're in for.
That's right. That's right. We'll get it out there. But tonight we have another fabulous guest, number 116. We have James Nash. He is a guitarist. He plays multiple genres. He's a singer, songwriter, scholar, stylist, little league coach, and he hails from Nashville, and now he is living in San Francisco. And welcome, James Nash.
James, yay.
Thank you so much, Ellie and Cindy.
How are
Hi.
you since we spoke last, like 50 minutes ago?
I'm doing great. It's beautiful here in San Francisco, and the world is opening up. I've been seeing people I haven't seen in a long time, and we're all just happy to be here right now.
It's really nice. Have you kept in touch with your all your friends and musical associates through Zoom and things like that?
You know, Zoom is not as bad as it gets a rap for, I think. It's not real life, and so it has that artificial quality, and we'd all love for things to be more real life. But yeah, I think so. I kind of resisted for a little while. I said, what are you talking about? A Zoom cocktail party? That sounds ridiculous. And then I finally went to a Zoom cocktail party, and it was pretty fun. So yeah, I've been trying to keep in touch with people with Zoom, but it's harder. But then on the other hand, I think that this pandemic has brought us together in some ways that we wouldn't have before. So I've done some long distance music projects with some people that I probably wouldn't have done anything with them at all. But once you start thinking, well, we're not going to get together anyway, so I can work with anybody. Well, yeah, let me call up my friend from Nashville. Let me call up my friend from Boston, and let's try to just put something together. So that in that way, it's been kind of interesting.
It has been. We've a lot of our guests have rehearsed. They will record a piece, send it to somebody, they record it, and then they put all of them together with everybody playing. It's just so interesting to see what musicians and technicians have been able to do with technology lately.
I like what Joshua did with his trumpet. He just overlaid himself playing different trumpets, the different parts of the various concertos.
It was really fun.
Well, and I think what can be interesting about that too is that a lot of the time music is made that way and we don't ever think about it. Like when we think about a band going into the recording studio, we have this idea of them all set up in a room, and sometimes it works that way, but sometimes people play separately. And so I've been on all kinds of records where I found out, oh, I'm playing with so-and-so, I'm really excited about it. Then I show up and they go, oh, well, actually, your friend laid his part down 2 weeks ago. We just want you to overdub your part now. So we weren't ever actually in the room at the same time. So a lot of time we think that music is made together, and it ends up being put together in unusual ways. And but Zoom and all of this video production has really put that in everybody's face. So now when a piece of music is edited together from multiple takes, you see like 5 boxes, like, the Brady Bunch or something, where you can see everybody playing in it. And now we're used to just hearing that, and a lot of time we never knew.
Right. Who was doing that? Immediate family. When they were playing, they were, each person would have their own little box. And
yeah.
So, all right. So, James, you were raised in Nashville. And so were you musical as a child? Were your parents musical? How did you get started?
Yeah, I was really musical as a child. I started lying on the floor and staring. For some reason, my father had his hi-fi system set up in this really low cabinet where the turntable was almost on the floor. And so when I was like 1.5, 2 years old, I would just lie on the floor and listen to the music and watch the record spin around.
Right.
And I love that stuff so much that my parents got me a little toy, Fisher-Price record player, which would play real records, but it's like a little plastic thing before I was able to read. And I know this because they used to mark the sides of records that would have the songs on it that I wanted to listen to, because I couldn't read the label on the record. So I must have been, I don't know, 3 years old or something, and was playing my own records in my room and just really loved music and started playing violin first. I did Suzuki violin when I was, I guess I was 3.5 or so, and started playing that. And, you have to be a little bigger to play the guitar. So I got interested in the guitar when I was maybe like 7 or 8 and started playing. So I never had like nowadays they make smaller guitars, and I've worked with some kids who play smaller guitars. I never had a small guitar. So I started playing violin when I was really young. And then as I was listening to more and more music that had guitars, and I really wanted to play the guitar, and I kind of switched to the guitar as I got big enough to hold the thing and play it, which was, when I was maybe 9 or 10.
Yeah, they have those cheap little plastic guitars with this, with the strings. But you,
that's where I was very lucky, because I didn't have a toy guitar, so I didn't have my own guitar. So on the one hand, I had to ask my dad to get to play his guitar. But on the other hand, my dad owned 2 guitars, and they were made by Martin and Gibson.
Okay.
So we had a Martin D28 and a Gibson Les Paul that were my dad's guitars. Now, he wouldn't let me take those off, but I go, Dad, can I play the Les Paul tonight? And so we go back into his room and like plug into a little amplifier, and he'd let me play the Les Paul for a little while. So I didn't have my own guitar, but I got to play a really nice one.
Yeah, nice. Do you, does your father still have those guitars, or do you have those guitars now?
I do have one of those guitars now. Yeah, that's a 1966 Martin D28 that my dad bought new, which I do still have.
Oh, cool, cool. So, okay, so you're in Nashville. Were you singing, writing, mostly just playing the Suzuki violin? Were you?
You know, I got kind of shy about it. I think like middle school and high school, I mean, I was singing and writing songs when I was in like third, fourth, fifth grade, and was one of those like sort of weird, freaky kids who was trying to be artistic and write his own songs and stuff. And then I got kind of shy about it. I think right around like seventh and eighth grade, when we all get kind of self-conscious and wonder what everybody's thinking about us and things. And I was good enough at the guitar that I felt confident that I could kind of play the guitar in front of people and do my thing, but I wasn't confident about my singing and my writing. And so I really just kind of turned into just an instrumentalist guitar player. I didn't even really sing. When I was in seventh and eighth grade, I was playing in bands with older kids. So most of the kids I was playing with, ninth, 10th, 11th grade, but I would never sing in those bands. I mean, not even backups. I was just the quiet guitar player over on the side of the stage, and I would play my really loud guitar solo, and then I'd turn back down. And I really didn't get back into singing and writing until I was maybe like 18, 19 years old, when I think you have to have a lot of confidence to do that. Yeah. And I really respect people, especially at younger ages, who do, because as a teenager, I didn't really have the confidence to write a song and get up in front of people and say, this is what I'm thinking about, and this is who I am, and this is what I believe. And it's a very personal thing. And I had to grow into that a little bit.
What brought you to that point, do you think?
It's a really good question. I think I realized in college that for starters, that I wasn't listening to songs as deeply as I should have been. I think some of it was probably because I grew up kind of like a late 80s rocker, and a lot of the songs that were popular then weren't even really that good with the lyrics. It's sort of like they were really fun and they had great guitar parts and the vocalist was really good, but you start listening to the words and
deep
really,
like a mud puddle.
Devo.
Yeah, I know. There's so many, and and I remember one of the songs that really did it for me was when Tracy Chapman's first album came out. Okay. And that might have been the first, as strange as it sounds, because there was so much amazing music that long before Tracy Chapman came along. But for me, she was kind of my gateway artist into artists who were really saying something with their music. And I started listening to her, and it's like, oh my God, like I liked this song for 3 or 4 years, and now I'm finally listening to the lyrics and realizing what it's about. And I think that really kind of inspired me to look deeper at some of the other music that I like, which got me back into listening to Dylan and Chris Christopherson and John Prine and people that I had already listened to a little bit, but I was more listening to their songs, to their melodies, right, and less to what they were really having to say. And I think as I kind of discovered what other artists were saying, it made me want to do it myself.
Yeah. You hear a song and you think, oh, I always think it's amazing that in music there's such a connection that you can make people happy and joyful or melancholy. Now, is it true there's 450 attributes to music?
Oh, but who said that?
Pandora. I actually read that you said it that you had an interview with talking about the old Pandora days. There's 450 musical.
That could have been about what it came to. I get what you're talking about.
In the Pandora,
yeah. We were trying to. I mean, it was sort of like early artificial intelligence for computers in trying to understand music and understand musical taste. So we were trying to quantify music in all these different ways to help a computer understand what people would like. And that was a really interesting project. It was what became, Pandora Media, and we were working on it early in those days. And it didn't start out as a streaming company, which is kind of what Pandora is now, Pandora Radio, and it's known as being the streaming company. And I think has in many ways got a bad rap for doing what all the streaming companies do, which from the other side of it, as a musician, I'll say, well, they don't pay musicians enough. Like none of them do, whether it's Spotify or Rhapsody or Pandora or Sirius, or like none of these, there's no good model for music.
Right.
And it's too bad, because it seems like with film, this problem has been solved better. Like nobody really complains about how much they get paid from Netflix. Like it seems like the actors they get paid pretty well to make these shows.
Right.
And it doesn't work that way for music. And so that's really, I think, kind of what these streaming companies are known for now. But it wasn't what we were trying to do back in the early days when when I was lucky enough to be asked to help out with some of those projects. And we were really trying to help a computer recommend music for you that you would like. And it was about helping a musician. It was about discovering a new artist. It was like, oh, you like listening to this? Well, then maybe you'll like James Nash, and maybe that'll help me get a new listener. And it was a beautiful idea, but maybe it was kind of naive, because it did turn into kind of digital streaming, which is a nut that I think nobody has cracked right yet.
It makes you want to cry tears of rage.
Tears of rage.
Oh, there we go.
So we're
segue.
We're going to segue, yes. Right
Segue
in.
for your first music video, Tears of Rage.
You wrote it?
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, well, no, I didn't write this at all. This is a song that was, it's a really interesting song. So the history on this, the lyrics to this song were written by Bob Dylan. Okay. And it was when he was living in the Pink House up in Woodstock with the members of the band. And he brought these lyrics out and handed them to Richard Manuel, the keyboardist, and said, I think you should finish this song. I mean, can you imagine having Bob Dylan hear you hand you some lyrics and saying you should finish this song? So he did, and he wrote this beautiful melody and chord progression to go along with those lyrics. And so it's been a song that I've always loved, but I had never, ever played this song. And during the pandemic, at one point, I just was setting up a camera all the time and recording a lot of stuff late at night, because the only time I had to play music after I had been taking care of 2 kids during the day and virtual school and all this stuff was I would come in at midnight. And I thought one night, it'd be really fun to play this song. And so I just kind of learned it and came up with my own way of playing it and recorded it. So this was like right in the heart of the pandemic, of me being very lonely and doing a song that's old and just hauntingly beautiful.
Very nice. I'm looking forward to it. All right, here we
Okay,
go. We'll be
here we
back.
are.
You're watching James Nash.
Yes, you are.
And we are the Bling Sisters.
Yes, we are.
Carried you in our arms on Independence Day. And now you throw us all aside and put us on our way. What dear daughter beneath the sun treat a father so? Wait upon him hand and foot, yet always tell him no. Tears of rage, tears of grief. Why must I always be the thief? Come to me now. You see we're all alone, and life is brief. It was all very painless when you ran out to receive all that false instruction we never could believe. And now the heart is filled with gold as if it were a purse. Oh, what kind of love is this which goes from bad to worse? Tears of rage, tears of grief. Why must I always be the thief? Come to me now. You know you're so alone. Life is brief. pointed you the way to go and scratched your name in the sand. You just thought it was nothing more than a place for you to stand. I want you to know that while we watched you discover no one would be true, I myself was among the ones who thought it was just a childish thing to do. Yeah, got those tears of rage, tears of grief. Why must I always be the thief? Come to me now, you know we're so alone. And life is brief. Your life is brief.
And we are back. You're watching the Bling Sisters, our live interview chat show with our guest number 116, James Nash. And we just watched his Tears of Rage and his homemade haircut.
We weren't supposed to tell.
Oh, sorry. Well,
That's okay.
people do. I mean, when you can't get somewhere, you have to cut your hair, right?
He cut his own hair during the pandemic.
I
folks.
personally thought it looked very well.
I thought it
think
did too.
nice.
I think you are both too kind, but I appreciate that. But yeah, it
Under
is,
ideal circumstances, we can be too kind.
well, we all learned how to do things that we didn't know how to do during the pandemic.
Right.
And for me, one of them was cooking. I've never cooked a lot, and of course, when you can't get takeout and can't go out to restaurants, you have to cook. So I got a lot better at cooking. I'm still not very good, but I'm good enough that I can at least, I can stand to eat the food that I cook. And that's
What did you learn to cook that you like the best?
Oh, nothing fancy. I mean, I'm cooking for two boys, so we have a lot of chicken teriyaki and rice, and we make I'm good at breakfast. I'm like a lot of dads out there, where I make mean scrambled eggs and sausage, and my southern roots. So I make grits almost every weekend, and that's always fun.
You can. Nobody says eggs are only for breakfast. I like French toast in the evening, and
Absolutely.
I like mean eggs.
mean eggs.
I like my eggs mean.
mean, baby.
Mean. Get in line, baby.
I scramble them till it hurts.
Whip it good.
Right. Whip it real good. That's right.
All right. So getting back to talking about you, you moved to San Francisco. Okay, so you're in Nashville. You moved to San Francisco to go to Stanford, correct?
That's right.
Okay, and you got a BS in engineering, but you were playing gigs at night. Now, were you in a band? Were you in your Wayback band?
No, not that band, but I was in a band that was pretty serious. I just went to the student union one day when I was a freshman and saw a little note posted up, guitarist wanted, and said, oh, sure, I'll call this number. And it was a bunch of older guys who had graduated. They were, I was 18 and they were in their late 20s. So they were about 10 years older than I was, and called them up and just went up and auditioned for their band. And next thing I knew, we were making a record together. And then next thing I know, we were making a second record, and we did all of that, while I was a student. And yeah, there were times I was too busy.
Right.
And missed out on a lot of college stuff. I was doing a lot of other cool stuff. It's like on the one hand, it's like, oh, it's amazing. I'm in college and I'm sneaking out to nightclubs and performing in the city and stuff. But on the other hand, I was also missing stuff on campus. So it required, there were a lot of trade-offs and a lot of choices and
Juggling.
things. But that band was very serious. We made our second record, which we made when I was a senior, We did at Coast Recorders in San Francisco. We worked with John Cunaverdi, who's a pretty well-known producer and engineer. Helped us really make a record that was better than we had dreamed that we were going to. And then, you know, we had some radio promotion, and once I graduated, it was one of those things where I graduated and I had plans, but I put everything on hold because we just put this record out. And we're going to travel around in a van and promote this record. And so we did. And 1 year turned into 2 years, was turned into 3 years. And by the end of that, I realized, okay, I mean, I guess I'm a professional musician now. So long to my academic career, and hello, you know, a lot of not glamorous stuff, but also a lot of just wonderful, like I had never experienced that, going into places I had never been before and just playing in front of 100% strangers and trying to promote your music in new towns and new markets. And it's scary and it's tough.
Yeah.
And not all venue owners are friendly when you're playing in Detroit for the first time and nobody comes out to your show, and it's hard, but it was a absolutely a wonderful, you know, trial by fire learning experience.
Nice.
That's the way to do it.
And so, okay, so tell us about your Waybacks then.
So that band, that serious band that I got involved in college, and then that went for a little longer, was called Occam's Razor, and we were kind of a melodic rock sort of band. We played, you know, while I was a student, we played mostly in the Bay Area, kind of between San Jose and Mill Valley, and then we started touring after I graduated. But the Waybacks were very different. So I met those guys, and it was this all acoustic idea. And I had mostly been playing electric guitar up until that time, but I'd always liked the acoustic guitar. I just hadn't really focused on it very much. And it was really, really kind of a breath of fresh air to turn the volume down a little bit and play more acoustic based music. And I think that it also, that transition maybe led me in a little bit of a unique direction with my acoustic guitar playing, because I had just come off the road from several years of playing electric guitar, and suddenly, like, I'm on stage with an acoustic guitar. And a lot of guitar players, when you see them play electric and acoustic, they play them very differently. They sort of have their electric style and they have their acoustic style. And for me, I was just like, damn it, you know, I want to do what I'm going to do on this guitar, and I don't care that it's an acoustic guitar. This is what I want to play, and I'm going to try to do it. So I think that that was kind of my approach to the acoustic guitar, was really not to look at it as a different instrument that you have to play a different way, but just to look at it as it's a guitar, and I'm going to do everything I can on this guitar that's possible for me to accomplish. So the Waybacks was really a fun outlet that I think really inspired me to be creative in different ways.
Well, I think I would encourage people to go to your website.
Yeah.
What is your website, by the way? Is it jamesnash.com?
Just my name. You can go to jamesnash.com.
jamesnash.com. I'm going to put the link in the comments stream, because on that website is a video of you doing just that with an acoustic guitar. You're really kind of riffing on it like it's an electric guitar. I think you're playing a Led Zeppelin piece. Am I correct?
Do they like it when they have? Is it okay to call a Led Zeppelin song a Led Zeppelin piece?
I don't know. Is that okay?
I don't know.
I almost don't care. It's okay.
It depends.
No, we're gonna play A Whole Lot of Love, Opus 27, and
Opus 27,
E minor, right?
Peace?
I love that, a Led Zeppelin piece. That makes it sound very sophisticated.
It does. Well, we're old school now, you know.
Yeah. We talk about the MTV and the YouTube.
I was reading the YouTube the other day.
The YouTube. I was on the YouTube, honey.
That's right. It was on the YouTube.
Those kids on the MTV with their,
When it's like people say, MTV gave us 7 great years of music. You know,
they really did.
First 7.
They introduced me to music videos. I have YouTube on my TV 24/7. Only music videos. I don't watch TV. Don't watch the news.
Only
it's
music.
Just music videos.
A lot of blues.
That's wonderful.
A lot of blues. Yeah.
Blues.
It's great.
Probably a lot happier than all us.
It makes me so much happier since I gave up the news 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back.
Yeah, let's talk about the Battle of Evermore.
Yes. So
okay.
Speaking of
your second,
that was a really fun moment, and particularly poignant because it was the last season of real performing that I did before the pandemic hit. So that video that you've got there was from a festival called Merle Fest,
Yes.
and recorded in 2019, and we were it was part of our Hillside Album Hour, and we were playing all the songs off of Led Zeppelin 4 for that show, and kind of adapting things to our own way. So we decided to make a mandolin army. Was sort of the concept for Battle of Evermore, because Merle Fest is in North Carolina, and I have so many wonderful mandolin playing
Bluegrass,
friends in North Carolina, including Sam Bush, who is just brilliant, and Tony Williamson, and then Warren Hood, who plays in our band. So we thought, well, look, there's 4 mandolins right there. We're gonna have 4 mandolins in this song, and I've always loved about Led Zeppelin, Robert Plant kind of had this Lord of the Rings thing that he would always bring in here and there in his material. And the Battle of Evermore isn't explicitly about the Lord of the Rings, but it could be. Like it could be a scene out of Tolkien, right? And so I love the idea of, well, since we've got 4 mandolins in the middle of this song, it's the Battle of Evermore. Let's have a mandolin battle. So my idea was kind of that the mandolins were kind of this army out there, and they were talking together. Maybe they were fighting some evil forces or something. So I got a little bit silly with it, but that's kind of where the Tolkien thing goes with Led Zeppelin. So that was what we do with Battle of Evermore, is we had fun with it, and it turned into, and then we went back into the song, and we had an amazing singer friend of ours from Los Angeles, Sarah Dugas, which people should look up. After you see her sing on this video with me, you'll definitely want to go.
We want to know. Oh, we love finding new singers and turning people on. Yeah.
Sarah's tremendous. It was great to do that show with her, and but so this is the Waybacks with many special guests, including 2 guest mandolinists. Red Young is playing the keyboards. He's a legendary keyboard player from Austin, and then Sarah Dugas singing the lead vocals.
Okay. All right, you're watching the Bling Sister live, and
no, the Bling Sisters.
Nash. The Bling Sisters.
She's
live.
trying to cut me out again. She's trying to cut me out. See. Okay, kids, we're gonna hit it now.
All right,
okay,
right
the
back.
Battle for Evermore.
Make you
On the mandolin, that's Mr. Tony Williamson.
And we're back.
We are back.
I'm Cindy
Silver-
Jenkins.
I'm Silver Shells.
And we're
we
the
are.
Bling sisters. We're sitting in the wrong seat. I can't help but be
Supposed to wait
confused.
for me. Okay, anyway, enough of this silliness. We're speaking with guest number 119.
Yes, we are.
16, James Nash. So we're going to read a few comments and say hi. Oh, hi, Elisa. Hi, Joyce.
Birdleg Pittman is here today.
Hi.
And Karen McCorkle, Joyce Vaughn, Elisa
Susan
Kaufman.
Horan.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, Lisi.
Hi, Lisi.
Celia Peterson. Dana. Hi, Dana.
Susan Horan. Pam.
I'm a great
Pam, I never know how to say your last name, but I know Ippolito goes Ippolito.
Ippolito.
Belle, what is this? This is French. I can never do French.
Belfuate?
Yeah, yeah.
Belfuat.
So, Celia, Pam, we love you, and I hope you still enjoy your flamingo necklaces. And
Yeah.
Dana Fisher, we love Dana. Go, Dana.
Go, Dana. Yay, Dana.
Okay.
Okay, so enough of that. We are
We are back.
we are back, and we're talking with James Nash.
James Nash.
James Nash.
Hello.
From
Hello.
Nashville.
How are you today?
Oh, you're doing good. So, you also were a band leader. Now, how did you become a band leader? Elvis Costello, Emmylou Harris, Bella Fleck to Bob Weir.
Oh wow! Well, so that's all at this. That last video was filmed at Merle Fest, where
Okay.
it started. The Waybacks started getting booked at that, just like any other music festival, to play a set, come over the weekend and play a set, and we did that for a few years. And after being invited back to that festival 3 or 4 years, we just had this idea of, let's take one of our sets and cover an album, and thought that it would be fun.
Yeah.
And it has just over the years turned into an annual thing where we've gotten more and more elaborate in changing the albums around and adapting them and paying tribute to other artists in the middle of records and things. So what you didn't see, so that was the Battle of Evermore by Led Zeppelin. What you didn't see is that we started off playing an old song by Fairport Convention to start out that song. And the reason was because this is great trivia. You can see on there, if anybody who's watching knows this, there's only one song in Led Zeppelin's recorded catalog that has a lead singer other than Robert Plant featured for any period of time. And that's the Battle of Evermore.
Okay.
And so the singer is Sandy Denny, who was one of the singers in Fairport Convention. So we played a Fairport Convention song and kind of medleyed those two together. So we love to do little things like that to kind of play on the music history that's part of the records and kind of get into what the songs are really about and stuff like that. So that was here. But yeah, we've had Sarah was our guest for this particular performance. But yeah, we've been very lucky at the festival because so many great performers come through. Now we say, hey, go if Emmylou Harris is going to be there, if Susan Tedeschi's going to be, whoever it is, like, let's invite them to sit in. And sometimes they say yes. So that's how we've gotten a lot of wonderful performers who have been part of this project.
I know the Rolling Stones said that they look forward to seeing what you're going to do every year at the Merle Fest.
Oh, the magazine. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is great. If the Rolling Stones were interested, that would be even cooler.
Yeah.
But yes, on the cover of the Rolling Stone. I love it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, so you would just they'd sit in and just sing whatever you're.
We would work it out ahead of time, but usually not very far ahead of time. And so, most of the time it was someone who was coming in for a day or two. And so we wouldn't have any time to do a proper rehearsal with them. So I have done so many hotel room rehearsals, which have been just fabulous. Emmylou Harris, we actually got to rehearse on stage at a little practice stage before she performed with us. An amazing one was Elvis Costello. So we asked him if he would sit in with us. Because, he's our hero. Of course, we're going to ask him, and he's going to say no, but we'll ask him anyway. And the funny thing about asking people to sit in is if you don't know if they're going to say yes or no, and we're performing, it's not like a normal set where we either do the song or not.
Right.
We're playing all these songs regardless of whether our guest shows up or not. So we had to have a backup plan. So I think I was going to sing the song if Elvis didn't do it, but we were hoping he was going to show up, and we didn't think he was going to do it. Didn't think he was going to do it. And like 45 minutes before we go on, the festival director comes over and says, "Hey, Elvis says he's going to do it. Go meet him at his tour bus."
Oh my gosh, for
Like,
fun.
so I jump on a golf cart and drive over, and I walk up the tour bus, and I look in. There's this guy sitting in the driver's seat, and it's not Elvis Costello. And I look around. There's nobody else there, and he says, "Oh, he'll be out in a minute." So I have this sort of awkward, I'm sort of standing there in this tour bus with this driver, and suddenly it's like something out of a movie. There's these black velvet curtains kind of separating the front of the tour bus from the back, and the curtains fly open, and Elvis bursts through these curtains with a guitar around his neck and says, "Hi, how you doing? I think we should do it kind of like this." And he starts strumming at full volume, and he starts singing, and it was like being knocked back, you know, to the front windshield of the bus with the man is a force of nature.
Yeah,
What a
power.
moment.
As powerful as he sounds on a record or going and singing in concert, I mean, being, 6 feet away from him was just an otherworldly experience. I mean, his voice is every bit as big and powerful as you think it would be. And so all I could say was, yeah, let's do it just like that.
Yeah, however, whatever you say.
But the hard thing was then I had to go back and talk to the rest of the band and try to explain to them, okay, here's what we're going to do. And here's the way Elvis wants to play it. Because we didn't have any time for him to rehearse with the whole band. So it's just, you go up on stage and you do it. And the cool thing was he was such a good sport because we were doing the Beatles' Abbey Road that year.
Uh-huh.
He sang, she came in through the bathroom window, and he did it kind of like Elvis, sort of like Mystery Train, kind of rock and roll sort of thing. Really fun, very different from like Joe Cocker or something. It was really cool. But because he knew all the words, he just jumped up on stage other times and sang harmony. So he had these wonderful moments where it's like, yeah, that's Elvis Costello singing backup harmonies on our song. Like how amazing is that? But hey, he wanted to. So it's like, am I going to ask Elvis Costello to get off the stage?
Yeah.
Hell no.
All right. Do you know our 45 minutes has flown by, 49?
Flown right by.
But I do want to tell everyone that's listening, in 2017, James was named one of the 50 best acoustic guitarists of all time by Guitar Player. So I wanted to
I believe
that out
it.
for you. Yes. And he is a spokesperson for the Santa Cruz Guitar Company because you play a Santa Cruz acoustic, right?
I do. That's what you saw in that first video that we featured. That's one of my Santa Cruz acoustics. They make the best guitars in the world as far as I'm concerned, and they build them by hand right down in Santa Cruz, California. So it's anybody who lives in California, you should go see Santa Cruz Guitars because very few guitars these days are built in the sort of old world craftsmanship style. And at Santa Cruz Guitars, I mean, the way they build guitars, it's like building a violin. I mean, these guitars are carved by hand, and it's wonderful.
With the right wood,
Wow.
and steamed and shaped.
So what are you playing? Are you playing that guitar in Early Morning Rain?
Yes, absolutely.
You are.
All right.
Very good.
All right.
Well, that is our last video, and it's been really wonderful to talk to you, James. Thank you for your willingness to come on.
It's been wonderful talking to you. What a great show. Thank you both for asking
Thank
me.
you.
You are welcome. And next week we have Matt Jaffe.
Oh, Matt
I love
Jaffe.
Matt.
Isn't
Say
he
hi to Matt
great?
for me.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, so he's going to be on next Thursday at 6 o'clock, and he's guest number 117. So be sure to tune in. Cindy and I, 624, will be in Baton Rouge, but hopefully we'll be streaming live a lot while we're there. And when we get back on, was that July 1st, Lance Lopez. So we got a great lineup. Yes, we're so excited. Anyway, thank you, James. Everyone, be safe. Become a donor.
Organ donor. Become a donor to the Cindy Jenkins I Want to Go to Hawaii Fund.
No, we're doing the Bling Sisters. We're doing a fundraiser. The Bling Sisters going to Baton Rouge.
We are doing a fundraiser for that. You can find that on the community page.
All right.
So
thank you, James.
We are out of here.
And we'll check in with you later. Hugs to my granddaughter Sabrina, my son Zach, my new great grandbaby Josiah.
Anyone else, Shells?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, no, we're going to go. Okay, thanks a
right.
lot, you guys.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
In the early morning rain, with $1 in my hand, with an aching in my heart, and my pockets full of sand. I'm a long way from home, and I miss my loved ones so. In the early morning rain, I got no place to go. Out on the runway number 9, big 707 set to go. Well, I'm out here in the grass, where the pavement never grows. Yeah, that liquor tasted good, and the women all were fast. Yeah, there she goes, my friend. Yeah, she's rolling down at last. Hear the mighty engines roar, see the silver wing on high. She's away and westward bound, yeah, far above the clouds she'll fly, where the morning rain don't fall, and the sun always shines. She'll be flying over my home in about 3 hours' time. This old airport's got me down. It's no earthly good to me. Yeah, I'm stuck here on the ground, as cold and drunk as I can be. You can't jump a jet plane like you can a freight train. So I best be on my way in the early morning rain. Jump a jet plane like you can a freight train. So I best be on my way in the early morning rain.